Have you ever been watching a movie and suddenly the music swells, the lights dim, and you feel a chill down your spine? That unsettling premonition, the sense of impending doom, is not just a cinematic effect. It's a universal language echoing our deepest fears. It speaks to a primal part of us that still remembers the dangers of the savannah and the shadows of ancient caves. What if I told you that this feeling, this vibe, is a key to understanding not just horror, but ourselves? Fear is a constant companion in our lives. It's that sudden jolt when you hear a scream in the night, or the quiet dread that settles over you as you face a public speaking event. Yet amidst its universality, fear remains a cryptic puzzle. Why does it grip us so tightly? What triggers its icy fingers to curl around our hearts? And why do some fears cling to us like ghosts, while others vanish as quickly as they came? In this video, we will explore the haunting depths of our primal fears, those ancient echoes of survival that resonate within us even today. You will discover the hidden patterns that connect the saber-toothed tiger of the past with the modern monsters that lurk in our imaginations. We'll delve into the heart of fear itself, uncovering its neurological secrets, understanding how it manifests in our daily lives, and exploring why confronting our deepest anxieties can be a path to not just survival, but growth. As we embark on this journey, you might find yourself confronting your own demons, both real and imagined. But remember, knowledge is the first step to conquering any fear. So join me and unlock the secrets of the most terrifying, the most gripping emotions known to mankind: fear itself. We all know fear. It's that knot in your stomach, the quickened breath, the instinct to run. But what if we told you that the monster under your bed, or the chilling silence of an abandoned house, taps into something far deeper than just a spooky story? Imagine fear as a language, one that transcends time and circumstance. It's a lexicon of survival, a vocabulary of threats that our ancestors first encountered in the echoing chambers of prehistoric times. When our hunter-gatherer forebears first roamed the earth, they were not just contending with the elements and the search for sustenance. They were engaged in a constant game of life and death, stalked by predators and grappling with the uncertainties of a world that was both bountiful and brutal. Their fears were as raw and elemental as the world they inhabited, shaping their behaviors, their communities, and their very survival. Fast forward to today, and we find ourselves in a vastly different landscape, a world of skyscrapers and smartphones, of global crises and artificial intelligence. Yet as we navigate this complex labyrinth of modern life, we find that the core of our fears remains strikingly similar. The threat of economic collapse echoes the anxiety of a famine. The existential questions posed by AI tap into the same primal fears that our ancestors must have felt when contemplating the vastness of the cosmos. And the dread of climate change is a modern manifestation of our age-old fear of the untamed forces of nature. But why is this? Why haven't our fears evolved along with our circumstances? The answer lies in the very essence of what fear is meant to do: to protect us, to keep us safe. In the tapestry of human emotions, fear holds a unique place. It's not just a feeling, it's a driving force, an instinct that compels us to action, to preparation, to vigilance. It's a biological imperative hardwired into our DNA. When faced with danger, our bodies and minds spring into action, releasing a surge of hormones that prepare us for what lies ahead: fight, flight, or freeze. These are the three primary responses to fear, each as instinctive as the last. Fight, the immediate reaction to confront the danger head-on, often triggered by feelings of anger or territoriality. Flight, the desperate scramble to escape the perceived threat, born from the instinct of self-preservation. Freeze, a seemingly paradoxical response where the body shuts down to avoid detection, a strategy often employed by prey animals to evade predators. These responses are controlled by an ancient part of our brain, the reptilian complex, which houses the amygdala, the seat of fear processing. This almond-shaped structure acts as a vigilant sentinel, constantly scanning for signs of danger. When it perceives a threat, it sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus, which then orchestrates the release of neurotransmitters and hormones that prepare the body for the fight, flight, or freeze response. Adrenaline surges into the bloodstream, heart rate and breathing quicken, and the body becomes primed for action. Simultaneously, the stress hormone cortisol is released, triggering a cascade of physiological changes that both protect vital organs and divert energy to the muscles. But fear is more than just a physiological response. It's a psychological experience that can linger long after the initial stimulus has passed. In the moments after a near miss, after a close encounter with danger, we're often left grappling with the residual effects of fear, trying to make sense of what just happened, assessing the damage both physical and emotional, and formulating plans to prevent a recurrence. This phase of fear's expression is controlled by the more evolved parts of our brain, the limbic system and the cerebral cortex. The hippocampus, a key structure within the limbic system, plays a crucial role in this process. It receives input from the amygdala and helps contextualize the threat, determining whether it's real or imagined. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of higher-order thinking, engages in a complex dance of activity, assessing the situation, calculating risks, formulating strategies, and ultimately helping us to regulate our response. This intricate interplay between the ancient reptilian complex and the more evolved limbic and cortical structures is what allows us to transform our immediate, visceral response to fear into a nuanced, adaptive strategy for survival. Fear, therefore, is not merely a fleeting emotion. It's a comprehensive response system that engages every facet of our being, from the deepest instincts to the most sophisticated cognitive processes. And this comprehensiveness is what allows it to transcend time, to remain relevant across millennia and across vastly different environments. The core of our fears, our primordial fears, remains unchanged because it's anchored to the fundamental needs and drives that have defined our existence. Fear of loss, fear of the unknown, fear of harm. These are universal experiences that cut across cultures, eras, and individual differences. They're the silent threads that bind us to our ancestors, linking us in a shared narrative of survival. But what exactly is this primal fear we're talking about? What are the core fears that have echoed through the ages, shaping our behaviors and our very perception of the world? In the grand narrative of our evolution, there are certain fears that stand out as particularly potent, fears that have resonated with such power that they've become deeply ingrained in our collective psyche. These primal fears are not just about immediate threats or tangible dangers. They delve into the core of our existence, touching upon the vulnerabilities that define our shared human experience. Take, for instance, the fear of abandonment or separation. This primal fear traces back to our early social existence, a time when our survival was intricately linked to the bonds of kinship and community. Being separated from the group meant not just losing protection, but also severing the lifeline to sustenance and safety. This fear became a powerful motivator, driving us to form strong social bonds and influencing the very structure of our societies. Then there's the fear of loss, a fear that cuts deep into the core of our desires and needs. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the loss of a valued possession, or even the loss of our autonomy, this primal fear speaks to the fragility of our existence. It reminds us of the impermanence of all things and compels us to cherish what we have while we can. Next, we encounter the fear of the unknown, perhaps the most pervasive and potent of our primal fears. This fear stems from our innate desire for control and predictability in a world that's often chaotic and unpredictable. The unknown represents a realm of possibilities, some of which could be dangerous or detrimental, and this uncertainty can evoke a profound sense of unease. Finally, there's the fear of death itself, the ultimate unknown, the cessation of all that we are and all that we experience. This fear arises from our deep-seated instinct for self-preservation and serves as a reminder of the brevity of our existence. These primal fears are not just abstract concepts. They manifest in our everyday lives, shaping our choices, our relationships, and our perspectives. They drive our anxieties, our phobias, and our deepest insecurities. And yet, they also serve as the bedrock of our resilience, our resourcefulness, and our capacity for love and connection. Confronting these fears, understanding their roots, and learning to navigate their complexities is an essential part of the human journey. Fear is a universal language, a lexicon of survival that transcends time and circumstance. Fear of loss, abandonment, the unknown, and death are not just primal, they're profoundly human. They're the silent threads that connect us to our ancestors, linking us in a shared narrative of survival. But fear doesn't exist in a vacuum. It thrives in the fertile ground of our imagination, where the mundane meets the monstrous and reality intertwines with nightmare. Consider the modern world we inhabit. A world of global pandemics, of economic uncertainties, of looming climate disasters, and of artificial intelligence that blurs the lines between science fiction and reality. These are not just headlines. They are canvases on which our primal fears are painted in bold strokes. The COVID-19 pandemic, for instance, tapped into our deepest fears of contagion and isolation. The economic downturns ignited the age-old fear of scarcity. Climate change brought home the specter of ecological disaster. And the rise of AI awakened dormant fears of obsolescence and even annihilation. But these modern manifestations of fear are not simply a product of our external circumstances. They're also shaped by the unique lens through which we perceive the world. The digital age. With the advent of social media, our access to information has become instant and pervasive. Every click, every scroll, every swipe brings a barrage of updates, analyses, and opinions. This constant influx of information, while democratizing access to knowledge, also amplifies our fears. Social media platforms, with their algorithms designed to maximize engagement, often highlight the most sensational and fear-inducing content. This creates an echo chamber of anxieties, where the volume of fear is turned up several notches. Today, more than ever before, we're confronted with images, stories, and data points that are designed to evoke our deepest fears. And in this environment, fear has the potential not just to inform, but to dominate our perceptions, our conversations, and even our identities. But here's the intriguing paradox. Are we truly more afraid today than in the past? Or are we simply more aware of our fears? Fear has always been a part of the human experience, as old as our existence. But its expression, its intensity, and its impact have evolved alongside us. Today, we find ourselves living in an era where fear is not just a personal experience, it's a cultural phenomenon. Fear has seeped into the fabric of our societies, influencing our politics, our economies, and our relationships. One of the most striking aspects of our relationship with fear in the modern world is the manner in which it spreads. Fear, much like a virus, can spread rapidly through a population, taking on a life of its own. This phenomenon is amplified in the digital age where misinformation and sensationalism often take center stage. In times of crisis, when uncertainty looms large, fear can morph into panic. The COVID-19 pandemic was a stark reminder of this. As the virus spread, so did fear. often fueled by misinformation and a lack of clear guidance. Suddenly, hand sanitizer became a precious commodity. Masks were viewed as symbols of oppression or heroism, and every cough or sneeze was scrutinized. Fear became a shared experience, a common enemy that united and divided us in equal measure. However, while fear can unite people under a banner of anxiety, it can also be a potent force for division. In times of economic uncertainty, fear can turn neighbors against each other, fueling a sense of scarcity and sparking conflict over resources. Similarly, in the realm of politics, fear is often weaponized, used as a tool to manipulate, to gain power, or to maintain control. Fear of the other, fear of change, fear of losing one's identity. These are the tools that are wielded to create divisions within societies. Despite its pervasiveness, fear is not static. It adapts, it evolves, and it can be manipulated. Understanding these dynamics is crucial not just for our individual well-being, but for the health of our societies. As we've journeyed through the intricate pathways of our fears, we've uncovered a truth that's both daunting and empowering. Fear is not just a fleeting emotion, it's a fundamental aspect of our existence. It's a language that echoes from our prehistoric past to our modern-day realities. Fear of loss, abandonment, the unknown, and death are not just primal, they're profoundly human. They're the silent threads that weave the tapestry of our shared experiences, connecting us to our ancestors and to each other. But here's the paradox. While fear is an intrinsic part of our being, it doesn't have to define our existence. We are not merely the sum of our fears, we are also the sum of our resilience, our adaptability, and our capacity for growth. Every fear we confront, every challenge we overcome, every boundary we push beyond is a testament to our strength. Fearful situations don't have to be avoided. They can be confronted, understood, and navigated. Through education, through awareness, through open dialogue and a willingness to confront our anxieties, we can regain a sense of agency. Our relationship with fear is a delicate dance, a balance between respect and engagement. Fear deserves our respect. It's a powerful force that has shaped and continues to shape our world. But it doesn't have to rule us. We can engage with our fears, understand their roots, and learn to navigate their complexities. As we wrap this exploration of our primal fears, remember this: you are not defined by your fears. You are defined by your courage to face them, your wisdom to understand them, and your compassion to share them. Your fears are a part of your story, but they don't have to be the whole story.